Hello, hello, everyone. I see a lot of my friends over in the chat. Welcome, everyone, and welcome everyone that will watch the replay later on. I see Laura and Vicky and Beth. Hello. Let's see here. Madeline, Brenda, Krista, Carol. Hello in Texas, Carol. Gail. Hello, Gail. And Linda. A lot of my friends over there. There's Mindy. Hello, Mindy. I just love when all of our friends show up. It's just like we're all getting together and I don't know, just chatting and having a good time. And I just talk away and you guys just chat over there. I have a sweater on. I do. I'm cozy in my house, but I'm in the South and then we turn the air like way down low in the house. And then I have a fan. And then this is like TMI. This is too much information, but we're all friends here. For the lives and things, I have to close like blackout curtains in my room. And then, and it's a lot, but we make it all work. So yes, I've got the fan turned up, but I've got my cozy slippers on. I've got my cozy breeches on. I've got my cozy sweater on, and we are ready to go. Hello, there's, let me see. Do not tell me her name. Retro RX. I chatted with her in an email today. Hello. And I can't remember your first name. Let's see here. Carol, only reason for a sweater, right? Yes, that's the only reason for a sweater. We are starting to cool off a little bit. It is in the 80s, sometimes the 70s. So it almost feels like fall here, if you can believe that. Let's see here. Yes, Gail, I saw you on the unboxing last night. That's exciting. Next week is the crop and create. Yes, and I'll be teaching a class for that. Let's see here. Cozy Kelley Kahoot. Yes. Ooh, 70s. I know. It's so nice. All right. So we're going to be crafting tonight. I'm going to do some coloring with Copic markers, but we're going to make it super easy, like easier than my usual easy peasy. You guys know that I'm all about easy peasy. And we're going to color on vellum tonight because, when you color on vellum, it makes everything really kind of soft and hazy. And then you flip it over and it looks fancy, but it's really no big deal. It's something cool. So I'm going to go down here to my desk view. And I am going to be using our new Awesome to the Core stamp set. So it's got the cute little apples, lots of cute little sentiments for friends and thank yous and things like that. There's also the coordinating stencil set and the coordinating dies. And I'm going to use some of the dies here tonight to cut out my little vellum colored images. Okay, and anymore, I almost can't do a card without some of our layering frames. These are our fancy fall layering frames. You can see I've got some die cuts piled up over here ready to go with our pattern paper and things like that. I love these because I love layering paper. So these make it super easy and it makes it look fancy without having to try really hard. And then, of course, I'm going to pull out some of our pattern paper. I am loving the paper hoarder in me is loving these little tabbed paper and embellishment envelopes because I can keep all of my little paper, when I cut something. Let me see if I can get it out. See all my little scraps in here? And I just tuck all my little happy scraps back in there. But I'm going to use paper from both of our new paper pads, the Homestead Harvest and the Pinstripes and Polka Dots Harvest, because why not make it easy and have everything coordinate together? I know it's all going to match, right? All right, so I'm going to tuck those back in there, keep all my little happy scraps in there. Okay, so in my Misty, I have some of those apple stamps from that set. I'm going to squeeze in here a little bit, and I've got my vellum set up in here. Now, I love to use a heavyweight vellum, and this just happens to be the Basil heavyweight vellum. That's because when you go to heat emboss it and things like that, you're not going to have the rippling. You're going to have a little bit of rippling, curling, but not nearly like what you would have if you were using something a little more flimsy. I'm going to treat my vellum just like I would a regular sheet of paper. And so I'm going to give this a heavy dose of anti-static powder all over, because I am going to heat emboss it with my Brutus Monroe gilded embossing powder, which is the gold. So I've got it here. We're going to be all ready to go. Now I'm going to pull out my embossing ink, our clear ink, and just do a tap, tap, tap over the top. And we're going to kind of make this a little bit artsy, a little bit, I don't know, hazy, kind of apple images on this vellum. I have not stamped or used vellum, stamped on or used vellum in a long time. You know, sometimes we can do die cuts and things like that. And I'm looking here. Can you see that ink barely on that vellum? If I kind of tilt it in the light, you guys can see that there in the screen. But I think that's going to be good to go. I'm going to put my ink back. I'm going to pull my vellum right on out of here. Set my MISTI aside. And now let's go ahead and let's sprinkle on some of that gilded embossing powder. And I'm going to use a good old coffee filter. We stuff all those back in there. And then this is a really pretty gold. So let's get my lid off of my Big Mama embossing powder. And then we're just going to sprinkle and then do a little tap off here. So I'm going to tap off a little bit. Tap, tap, tap. And I may need to restamp it. You know, Carol always says to do it twice and then you don't have to worry about it. And the one time I don't listen to my friend Carol, this is what happens. But you know what? I'm all about, this is a live stream and there's always boo-boos. And so, well, is my leaf? Okay, scrap that. We're going to the next sheet. And you know what? It's like the magic of television. I've got another one cut. It's like I almost had planned to just make a boo-boo mess, right? Okay, set that aside. My stamps are still in my MISTI. Here we go. All right. See what happens when I don't listen to my friend Carol over there in the chat. Stamp it twice, and then we don't have to worry about it. So let me treat this really well. Okay. All right, here we go, Carol. I'm following your directions this time. Let's see. What's Carol saying? I know she's probably in here. Learning curve. Heat emboss is fast on vellum. It does. Okay. So here we go. And I thought I could get away with doing it one time, and nope. All right, so let me push this down. And I'm not trying to push super hard because I don't want that embossing ink to kind of do the ooze out around the sides. I can't remember what Carol's saying was, like stamp it twice for good measure, or stamp it twice. She has a little nifty saying. Okay. All right. That time is looking really good. And I'm going to do it a third time just because I do not have a magic third sheet of vellum like over here on my desk ready to go. So, okay. Close the lid. And I want to get that leaf really well. And then just glide over the rest. Okay. I think we're looking good now. Only time will tell when we pour the powder over the top. Okay, I've got this little scrap piece of craft cardstock here. And I've got my handy dandy coffee filter. And then let's see what we get. Hold my breath and do a little dump. All right, we're looking good. Let me get that little spot. There we go. All right. I've got a couple little boo-boos, but we're going to clean those up. Shove that in there. Okay. And then just for this reason, I've got my little handy magic paintbrush here, and I'm just going to sweep some of that in there and this away and those away and that away. And I can go right down the sides and right down this side. And this is really honestly going to be so artsy looking and almost watercolorish that I probably don't need to do this. It's probably not that necessary, but we're going to make it look as good as possible. Okay, so here we go. Hey, Mari. All right. So let's let this embossing powder do its thing here. Okay, now we're looking handy dandy here. Okay, so let me put that back. And then I am going to set this piece of craft cardstock down because I think it's going to be easier for us to see when I color this here in just a second. Okay, so you want to make sure that your embossing powder is all nicely set up, and then we're going to flip it over. Now, this is what is so easy is, you simply can just take your markers and color on the back side. So I'm going to take an E07, and this is an earthy tone. It's almost like a burnt orange, but it's going to be really pretty with this paper. Do you see how that's almost a really pretty match? And so it's going to be pretty for our apple. And I am just going to trace. So we're going to do easy peasy, go right around the edge. And anywhere that you kind of touch over again, it's almost going to be, it's not almost going to be, it's going to be activated again by the marker because it's kind of spread itself around. And this is not going to blend like it does on paper. So you're going to be able to see all your little swipes, all your little areas. But this is going to be an easy kind of technique here, okay? So it's kind of looking like a hot mess right now. I'm going to darken up and get really dark some of these areas right around the side, right up in here in the top. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time because we're going to kind of do a faux kind of watercolory look. Okay, so my big apple is all done, and I'm going to come in just a little bit more. Now, let's do the little slice. It's going to be easy too because all we need to do is go right around the edge, just barely around the edge like so. And then I'm going to take an E21 and do the inside because it's going to be like that creamy kind of almost white apple color. And I can even go there to the top. All right. This is an easy project too to use, not very many markers. Okay, we'll do our leaves. And I'm going to go down and around. You can see dark here and then lighter there. Same thing with this one. Trace it around. Maybe a little darker there. Okay, so we're looking good. My little stem, an E27. So I'm going to go kind of just like so. There we go. And you can even color this part up in here and add a little bit deeper. And now for our little blossom. A lot of this is going to be left. I'm going to leave it the clear or the hazy of the vellum. And I'm just going to take this E04 and go right down here and flick out from the center of this little apple blossom. Right around the edges. Okay, so this is what we're looking like so far. If I flip it over, okay, do you see now how if you wanted to leave it like this, I'm going to put it down on here so it's easier to say or easy to see. Easy peasy. You could leave it like this, and some of those little areas where you've added darker shades and things, they haze out. It makes the vellum makes everything lighter and gives it like this hazy look to it, right? But I'm going to take it one step further, and I could this could go one of two ways. Either I make a big mess or it looks gorgeous. Now, I tried this earlier today, and it was really cool. I'm going to take an alcohol prep pad. And you know those Copic markers are activated by alcohol. So I'm going to flip this back over, and I am going to strategically kind of give this some pounces. And it's almost going to turn this like watercolory looking. And it's going to puddle up some of that color. And you can, it's on here. It almost looks like I've hurt myself. And you can almost deposit some of it from the little alcohol swab back onto whatever your image is. And I'm trying not to color outside the lines. Okay. Now I'm going to let that dry and do its thing. And I'm going to refold my little alcohol pad. You could probably use like some alcohol and like a little brush if you wanted to make like a little cup of alcohol. I'm barely going to do this because I don't want this lighter pink to go all the way to the tips of the petals. So I'm going to kind of keep it right in the center. Okay, I'm going to get a new pad. Let's see here. And then I'm barely going to just kind of make my green in the leaves just puddle up a little bit. You're not going to be able to see a whole lot of it because there's all those pretty embossing lines and things on the other side, or the embossing powder, I should say. Okay, I'm going to do a little flippy flip here, and then I'm barely going to just kind of do my little apple slice, just so everything kind of, you know, marries together and we all look the same. Okay, now let's flip it over. And then it's going to have this, I wish I could show you. It's going to have this puddled, like watercolory. I wish I could get it to, I wish I could show you better. Like the camera doesn't do it justice. It almost looks like when you drip like your alcohol inks and stuff onto Yupo paper. That's kind of the look that you get when you dab those little alcohol swabs onto the vellum. You can kind of see where it is puddled up and it's a little bit drippy. It's not perfect. This is, so if coloring is like not your thing because you're afraid that it has to be like perfect, this is my jam here because we don't have to make anything perfect. Okay. Coordinating dies. So let me come back out a little bit so we're not blinding you here so close. And then I can cut them out. We can get the slice, the blossom and the leaf. Now we want to say, I love Pink Lady apples. Sweet but tart and crisp. You know, one of the things that I miss about living in the Pacific Northwest is apple season, which is like this time of year right now, where all the little farms and things are making like fresh apple cider, and you could go, you know, to all the little corn mazes. And one of our favorite places right outside of Spokane, they it was an apple orchard, of course, but then they had like fresh like pumpkin donuts, and you could get you a little hot cup of cider, and it was like the most awesome thing to do, like on a Saturday, to go do that with the family. And it was just amazing and fun. And then you pick up your mums and your pumpkins and all that stuff. Okay, I'm going to run this through my die machine. So I'm going to step away from my desk just for a second. But I miss the apples. They're my favorite apple from up there was the Honeycrisp apple. But, you know, being that we don't live in the Pacific Northwest anymore, you know, you try to buy them at the grocery store, and it's just not the same as getting them, you know, fresh, like on the farm. They just don't taste the same. I don't know if it's because, you know, they were allowed to get really nice and juicy and finished and ripe and all that just right on the tree. I don't know the science behind that, but they're just not the same. Okay, so here we go with all of our little layers for our card. And as I mentioned before, all four of these pieces right here were cut with those fancy fall layering frames. If you look closely right up here, you're going to see that kind of almost like ribbon rope design that is pressed into the paper right around this layer. And then we have this beautiful pattern paper, and you're not going to be able to see it because the paper is a little more busy, but you can see kind of the little divots, and there's a design pressed into the paper of this one. And then we've got our little oval frame, of course. And then this banner die I'm in love with. I've used it a couple of times in our live streams, but this is in that the layering frame set as well. But I just added a little bit of that same Copic marker, the E21, just to add a little depth there to those embossing lines that are pressed into the paper, just to look like it's kind of waving around a little bit. And you can see all of our pretty pattern paper that we're using. So I'm going to start adhering all my pretty layers here onto my craft card base. And so I'm just going to flip this over. And as I'm kind of gluing here, I'll look up and see here. Every once in a while, I can get a Pink Lady for about $1.25. Oh, wow. You guys are making me hungry. Pink Lady apples are on sale at Kroger right now. Oh, you know, when we were in Washington, we ate apples and stuff all the time. But I have to tell you, when you move away, you get spoiled. That's the problem, is you get spoiled with all of that wonderful produce and stuff. And then you move away and it just is not the same. You know, in the South, we've got our peaches and things like that. But, you know, the apples and some of the other things just are not quite the same. Okay, so we've got this pretty kind of rosy, like a brick red pattern paper here. And then we have our floral, and I'm going to layer over the top. So I think this guy, I may pop him up just to have a touch of dimension here on all of our layers. Let's see, need to go to a farmer's market this weekend before it's too late. Ooh. I know we have a couple of farmers markets here, and I have not been. We have a big market in down in the main part of our city in Columbia, and it's huge. It's one of those big markets to where they shut down the main street downtown, and then there's all kinds of vendors, everything from foods to crafty things and fruits and vegetables. I'm a little wonky here, but we're gonna go with it. And then I'm gonna layer this kind of right in the center and do a little layer. We're gonna do a little layer, and we're gonna have all the pretty papers going on here. But I have not been, and here's why I haven't been. It's because most of the time here it is hot. It's hot, hot. My daughter likes to go down to the market and take our dog, because there's, everybody's got their dogs and their pets, and she likes it. She likes to go down to the market and visit with all the other doggies and all the other people. Okay, here's this. All right, I'm going to hold this into place a little bit. Okay, now this little guy, I'm going to put and stamp my sentiment on here. Okay, you got to kind of see the direction I'm going here, and then we're going to put our little grouping of our apples and things right in here. So I'm going to move this aside, and let's choose a sentiment to stamp on the banner. And I think I'm going to use this, "You're awesome," and then "to the core." So I'm going to pull this back. Let's see what else we've got in here. Better friend. I couldn't have picked a better friend. Okay. And then I got to find, you were talking about your messy desks earlier. I just cleaned mine literally right before the live stream, and I already have Hurricane Kelley has gone through here. I saw somebody in the comments said that they had a hurricane and a tsunami at their house. That's how I feel a lot of times as well. Okay, I'm going to stick that right down onto that little handy grip mat, and then I'm going to arrange the "You're awesome," and I think we're going to fit right in there. I'm going to pull this really close to my head, so if my crazy hair gets in the way. Okay, this one is going to fit pretty well, just kind of stretching it across here. I have, you can always take your little stamps like this and can kind of manipulate them a little bit if you want them a little more curvy to your little die cuts and things, but I think this one's going to be okay. Okay, I'm going to pull out Speckled Egg, and I'm going to stamp this in Speckled Egg because I'm going to coordinate, all of our little colors and things that we have going on, back to the pattern paper. So I'm just going to ink up the "You're awesome." And I can stamp that right across there, and I'm going to stamp it several times. We're going to get that really good and dark if I can get it. And let's see here. "You're awesome." I don't think I like that. I don't think I like it on the craft. All right. Pause for a commercial break. Hold on. Not really a commercial break, but I'm just finding new ink. All right, let's see here. Let's try Faded Jeans, maybe. Okay, so I've got Faded Jeans, which is a little bit deeper of a blue, and I'm just going to go right over the top of that. And this could be a disaster as well. Let's see here. Okay, Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Okay, I think we're going to leave it before Hurricane Kelley destroys it. Okay, and let me clean up this little mess right there before I stick something in there. Okay, so we've got the little "You're awesome." Let's go ahead and put that out of the way. Now, let's see if this is going to match or not. Okay, I think we're going to be okay. Look at that. "You're awesome." And then I think I'm going to stamp "Your to the core." I should have stamped it right there, but I wasn't thinking enough ahead of time. Okay, so let's do "To the core." If I can get it gently pulled back here. All right, let me read the comments. Let's see. Oh, they're a good color. Looks good. That matches good. It's not too bad. I was going for more of that. A little bit more of it on the teal side, but I think it's going to go okay with like the darker polka dots and some of the darker blues in here. I think we saved it. I think I saved it. All right, so I'm going to put this scrap paper down, our craft paper. We're going to put "To the core." And and then let's do this in the same color. So I'm going to pick this up and let's see what it looks like if we don't do speckled egg first. Let's just do the faded jeans. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Come on. Tap, tap, tap. There we go. Okay, we're looking good. Pull this up. Okay, now because it's that oxide, I am going to heat it up for just a second. Okay, now, thank goodness for coordinating dies, right? For our little sentiments and things like this, because I really had planned to stamp it right underneath the banner on that white, but that's what happens when Kelley starts chit-chatting, is I forget. Okay, I'm going to reuse one of my little pieces of tape, and we're going to get this little die. What did we ever do without our metal coordinating dies, our little wafer dies? Like back in the day when I started card making, I guess we fussy cut everything and did like little strips and little things, didn't we? When we first started. I know I did. Or you just didn't cut it. You just had it on a little piece of cardstock or something. Okay, now I've got this cute little "To the core." Let's put this away. Fussy cut or hole punches. I forgot about hole punches. Oh, and remember, you guys are going, yep, fussy cut everything. Remember all of our fancy scissors that we had that had all the different little edges and things on them? Seems like we all had like 900 pair of little scissors that had, we had like the pinking edge and little curly cues and little waves and all kinds of little things that, you could cut around the edge and things like that. And remember being able to buy like little bitty little squares of paper and all different colors and oh my goodness, we're doing a throwback. So what I saw, speaking of throwbacks, and those of you, I won't say a whole lot about this because I don't know how much I can disclose here, but in the little crop and create thing, some of the products that are coming back around, it's almost like clothing. Like, let me tell you guys what are coming back, and you guys get, some of you guys in here that are in doing crop and create are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. But do you remember rub-ons? Rub-ons are coming back, you guys. Like, I was shocked when I was like, oh my gosh, rub-ons are coming back. But I was like, oh my goodness, I have not seen a rub-on. Remember the little stick that we had that you could add like little sentiments and little things? I was like, oh my goodness, I am showing my crafty age right there. It's like my daughter when she wants to wear like 90s fashion and you know, all the little things that like we wore back in the day, like when I was in high school and college, and oh my goodness, it's crazy. My mom told me that one day that was going to happen, but I didn't believe her. All right, I'm going to pull off a little foam strip for this. Let's see. I love them. I still have rub-ons. I'm not a fan of rub-ons. Beth, I never could get the darn things to like come off right. You know, you remember using the little stick, the little popsicle stick thing, and then you rub, and then you pull it up. And then it was like back in the day when we stamped and didn't have our MISTI, right? When you would stamp, and then you know, your ink was not in places. Like on my stinking apples here a minute ago where I boo-booed. You know, what did we ever do without, you know, the MISTI and all of our fancy tools that we have these days? Okay, so some of these I'm going to attempt to pop up a little bit. And I'm going to attempt to hide the adhesive strategically, like right back here behind the little darker places, like in the stem. And I think that probably is enough. Let's see what you guys, maybe rub-on technology has, I hope so, Amy Reed. Let's see, eyelets. I do still have eyelets. I will admit that. Some of my stuff, Lisa laughs at me. Okay, I'm going to like kind of nestle this little apple, like he's perched up here a little bit, and then I'm going to attach it right back there, and see where you can't even see that foam back in there because we're kind of hiding it. And now I can kind of arrange all my other little goodies here. But I still have eyelets. I still have brads. Remember brads? I kept all that because, you know, every once in a while, either I'll do a some kind of little card that has like a something that moves, or a tag that you want to run like twine and, you know, things like that through. I don't know what I'm going to do with my little slice. I'm going to leave him out for now, and I can always add him in a minute. But I kept all that. Lisa thinks that's funny too. I still have my little eyelet setting tools. Do you remember that? Where you have like the little hammer, or the little, I've got this thing that like has a spring on it that you like pop down and it sets your eyelets and all the things. Oh yeah. We had all the little things, didn't we? I'm going to give this guy just a little bit of a curl, so he's got a little bit of shape to it. And I'm going to kind of set it like right down in here, and then tuck it down. Let's see here. I have a crocodile. It's actually on my desk over here. I still use this all the time. Sorry about that. I still use it for the hole punches. It's still like a great hole punch. I need to quit chit-chatting. And I mean, we could name like 9 million things that we all still have in our stash, right? It took me the longest time to get rid of some of my scrapbooking paper, because it's like some of those companies are not around anymore. Like, my Basic Gray. Do you remember all the fabulous designs and colors and patterns and things that Basic Gray had? And I held on to that for the longest time, thinking, oh, I'll do something with that. And I think I finally let it go. But it was hard to get rid of some of that, because we had like all the colors and all the things. And okay, I think I'm going to stop right here. I don't think I'm going to add the little slice. I guess I could add it to the inside of my card. Let's do that. Let's add it. I always forget about kind of doing something to the inside, but I can kind of add him right down in here. And then it's a little surprise when you open it up. But I may have kept a couple of Basic Gray patterns. If you really want to know the truth, no, maybe I didn't. When we moved recently, I think I got rid of some of my pattern paper that I had just held on to for so long. All right, let's see here. I love a lot of wood stamps. I have a few. Love how thank you. Look. What do y'all think about this kind of artsy fartsy little, like, it took no time to color that because we cheated on the vellum, right? And so it was easy, and then we made a mess anyway. So this is like my kind of card making right here, where it was like quick and easy coloring. Let's see. I love the first Cricut with the cartridges. Oh boy, I had all those. I sure did. All the things. We could go on for days and days, right, crafty friends, about all of our supplies. Thank you, Miss Gail. Keiko, thank you. You like the color palette? I do too. Isn't it kind of a little cozy? Makes me feel a little cozy for some reason. Let's see, really cool how it all came together. Thank you, thank you. I'm a little bit perturbed that my flowers are a little bit wonky to this way, but once you lay down the foam tape, it's all she wrote. Once you lay it down, it's all she wrote. I could probably do some card surgery, but we're good. All right, you guys. We love the throwback, right? We could just chat and chat about all the little things. Hid the adhesive really well. It did. Let me hold it up, and I'll cheat, and I'll show you all the things. See how you can kind of see through the tips of the flower right there, where you're catching the white back there, but you can't really see it. We hid it pretty well. If I hold it up right here, you can see it right there behind the stem. But there you go. And now we've got this watercolory kind of fun little apple. All right. Card surgery. Yes. I have to do that all the time. Card surgery. You guys just don't ever, I kind of hide it. If I'm live, I can't hide it. Usually, if I boo-boo, I'll show you and I'll tell you that I boo-boo and I messed up. All right. This leaf right there is a boo-boo, and I just left it. All right. Revisiting alcohol coloring. Yes, yes, yes. All right, you guys. This has been a fun live. I have had so much fun, and us talking about eyelets and rub-ons are coming back. I never thought I'd see the day that rub-ons would come back. Thank you, Carol. But I've had so much fun chatting with you guys tonight. All right, so it's time for Lisa, and I know Lisa is here tonight. It's time for Lisa to give us our giveaway winner, and I'm going to watch for Lisa to tell us who our winner is tonight. Let's see here. Our winner is Peggy May. All right, I'm going to put Miss Peggy's name up here. Peggy May, you are the winner. Woohoo! Okay, Miss Peggy, if you will email me at Kelley, Kelley, at honeybeestamps.com, I am going to send you a prize. Thank you, everyone that joined us this evening for Hurricane Kelley's crafty time, and I hope you'll join us next week. You never know what we may chat about or what Kelley may create in Hurricane Kelley's craft room. All right, bye everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week and have a really crafty weekend. See you next week. Bye, guys.